君のペースについていけるか心配してくれてるの？大丈夫だよ。銀月の庭で毎日ずっと散歩してたから。
ここは冒険者たちが活躍するのにぴったりな場所だと思いません？この研究は確かに
お。新月が来る。
糸よ、工作せよ。見切りました。ここより弱滅の時。はっせっはったっストップやってはったっ。逃げ道は
満ちて今宵月をさ
痛がっちゃいない。どの目が出るかしら。稲光すなわち永遠なり。せっせっ裁きの雷。やっふんたっそこはっとっ。逃げ道はありま
移して新月が来る。
終わりね。撤収。ここより弱滅の時。裁きの雷。てっふっはっそこはってっとっ。
星と深淵を目指せ。無事今日の依頼。星と深淵。
お、はい。
Oh wow, it's kind of half. It's kind of split. And this one is just crit rate. Actually, it's still pretty good. EM damage attack. That's pretty good because you want to stack her with EM anyway. Uh, oh, this has EM too. Let's see. So this has attack, and I think she's still. Does she see that scale of attack? What she? It's her. Uh, Hydro damage. It's percentage, but percentage of what? What about this 20? But like, normally you tell us what the percentage is. Like this is a percent, but it's also percent attack. But that's a like this percentage. I would assume is attack, right? Because that's too high a percentage to scale up HP. This percentage is so low, it could be HP. But the idea is that if every single one of our little sprinkles is hitting, then maybe that could still be attack? I'm not sure. Okay, so Hydro. Oh wow, that's a good cryo goblet. Okay, let's see. Yeah, like I think most people, it's actually kind of split, surprisingly enough. Realistically, Elemental Master is probably better because you're going to be using her in lunar reaction teams. So you want that bump to EM. But I don't have an EM thing, and I would lose this. I would have to lose this, and I hate to literally have nothing else. I don't want to take it from Llama. Although, that's a lot of EM on Llama, so that's pretty sweet. This is pretty good, though, too. Realistically, I guess I could look for a better crit rate circlet, but let's screw it. Let's just enhance this. Darn. Energy recharge is the only one I kind of wanted. But, whatever. I'm curious what happens. Well, let's remove the filter. Let's look for other crit rate. Seeing I have a better. Oh wow, that'd be useful. But I don't really need crit rate for her. Crit rate is nice, but realistically, I want something like this. What is this one again? What does she currently have? She currently has this one. So rolled some shit, some EM. This is kind of better, so let's just give it a shot. Oh. Oh wow, okay, this is better. Jesus Christ, this is much better. That's insanely good. Only ER and EM, mostly EM. Goddamn, that is good. 400 EM is pretty sweet. 200% energy recharge. So, with the Favonius. I think yeah. Is that her best weapon? I think it is. I think she just really needs the EM. And she's mostly a battery. Like, I could do this one. Honestly, this is a really good one, too. But the issue is just that this can trigger with her... Because basically, lunar reactions can also have, like, a base chance of crit. So, the lunar reaction can also trigger this off-field. So, this makes her a really good battery. However, this is also super good. Because this gets a ton of energy for her. This keeps her energy up. Because she gets 24 energy. And the and the base EM. And when she triggers a reaction, her EM goes even higher. So this would boost her EM to almost 700. So it's like, it's kind of good. But this is a good battery for the team. So it's kind of tough. Tough. But I think this is kind of more suited for her. And it's kind of unique to her, too. Because also she can trigger every one of these reactions. Because Lunar Crystallize is water geo. Lunar Bloom is water. So she actually can trigger all three reactions. Now, she can't create the reactions. Like, her alone will not allow Lunar Charge, Lunar Bloom, Lunar Crystallize at all. She needs to be in another Nod Cry unit, another Nod Cry 5-star, really. And it's like, you don't really need her with Columbina. But, her with an Effa, her with Llama, I think will be pretty good. Plus, you only had 200% energy ER, so maybe that's fine. Oh, and actually her Ascension, too. So her Ascension should... Yeah, her EM goes up to almost 600. And then she gets 120 from the sword. So she easily gets 700 EM with the buff up. Anyway. Time to... Is there anything else I need? Oh, I think it's probably the Imaginarium reset. But who gives a shit, because I'm capped on keys. I have max keys. There's no real point in doing it. See if we go to Vision Echoes. I have 4 out of 4 keys, so even if I do this Imaginarium Theater, I get nothing from it. Other than, like, just base rewards. But generally, like, the only reason I'm doing it at all is because of the keys. So, because of the cool particle effects you get at your characters, I really like those. Oh yeah, I haven't done this quest. Whoops. Whatever. Let's start the Lunar New Year quest. They have all the shit up. I assume this all went up, I assume it all went up when the quest appeared. Well, realistically, the Janshi zombies are always stiff. The hopping, or the... I think that's what she's supposed to be, the Janshi, the hopping vampire. And the reason why they hop is because they're so stiff, that's the only thing they can do.
そっか。とにかく今年は消灯をたくさん用意しないとね。夜が暗くなりすぎる。白先生の患者さん、あの日月がなかった。だから真っ暗で月がなかったって。うん。戦書曇月、長生が言ってた。意味は忘れた。沈玉の谷に昔から伝わる神話なんだよ。
Oh, interesting. The old myth. I wonder if this old myth is a derivative from when the Heavenly Principles destroyed the moons, and then the false sky went up. I wonder if that's maybe that event was witnessed by the people on Tavok, and then they, passed it along as legend and myth.
お話だってば。空にほんと師匠に聞いたことがあるんだけど、神話っていうのはヨーヨはその夜見れなくて、その後何日も月を見張ってたけど。
They mean just now?
空に浮かんでた。
Like, so this must be recent, right? Like, I assume they were talking about the past event, but I'm like, oh wait, now maybe they're talking about. Okay, yeah, so now they're talking about, I guess, the last lantern, right, where supposedly the moon disappeared. I thought they were talking about continuing to talk about the legend, but it's like, no, they moved on from the legend. They're just saying, hey, this is what the legend was. Now let's talk about the moon disappearing recently.
でも、ナナが言うには、総務士の人が現場。総務士まで動いたのか？大丈夫。大門は飛べ。
Also, like, if it was recent, couldn't it have been the story quest we just did, right? Because, like, it could be that when Doctoria was doing all his bullshit, it caused... Because he tore open the firmament, and we could see the real frost moon behind it. So it's possible in tearing open the firmament, because, like, it could be that the moon in the false sky is actually reflecting the light of the real moon, right? It could be that the real frost moon is reflecting its light onto the firmament, because, like, it's just a bubble encasing the world, and that light is redirected into the fake moon in the sky. So it could be that it shares the same lunar cycle as the frost moon. It's just not in the same position, right? So it's like, well, the frost moon might be, it might be directly over, like, Conria. It might be, like, directly over Sumeru, but in the firmament, it appears, like, directly over Leeway or directly over Mondstadt or something like that. It could just be a shifted perspective where it's like, yeah, the moon is over here, but really, like, the moon is over here in the false sky, but realistically, it's actually 15 degrees to the right. That's where it actually is. And the light is just redirected into the fake moon. So the question is, of course, is that Doctoria's bullshit in tearing the moon, tearing open the firmament and bringing the moon closer. Maybe that's why it disappeared, right? Maybe because the firmament was torn open, it could no longer redirect the light from the frost moon to the fake moon in the sky, and so it disappeared while all that was happening.
そうそう、パイモンちゃん。そんなに眉間にシワを寄せちゃダメ。シワがハイパーマなんて、そんなの嫌だ。そうは言っても、旅人が心配だな。だって、オイラと違って。安心して。ヨーヨたちがたくさんの消灯を作って。うん。消灯。
It's also, like, stupid, too. We're like, oh, the moon disappeared. Everyone just crashed. It's like, I'm sorry, what? Like, there's no way in hell it was that dark, right? That you would actually fall and trip. Like, there would be lights at the stalls. There'd be, not even the Zhao lanterns, like, floating in the sky. I'm just talking about, like, every stall would have to have shitloads of lights around it. The overhang has a shitload of lights. Now, I guess it's understandable, like, oh, okay, well, maybe the actual stall location has a ton of lights. No problem there. But when they get back home, when they're walking back home without the moonlight, it then becomes darker. Maybe they could also become like light blind, right? Because they're surrounded in the festivities, surrounded by light. When they get to the less lit streets, the difference and with the lack of moonlight makes it more difficult. So maybe they're tripping over shit on their way home.
そうそう忘れてた。あのね、今年の特大の消灯はお月様を守る仙人様を祀ったも。白い馬がか？もしかして白馬？そう、白馬の仙人様だよ。昔はお月様に住んでたんだって。
Yeah, I'm kind of curious if
何かあったらきっと黙ってないよ。
I'm kind of curious if she actually knew the original moon goddesses, because like it's very possible, right? It's very possible that because like the three moons did interact with Tavok far more frequently and uphold its laws and all that shit before all the shit went down, before Nibelung came back. You know, they did interact with them, and hell, they even interacted relatively fine with the Heavenly Principles. The only reason they were destroyed is because when Nibelung came back, he imprisoned them and forcibly used their power as a weapon. So the Heavenly Principles destroyed it. You know, so I mean, like, and he did trap them maybe because they were getting a little too. They were being a little too nice to the Heavenly Principles, but hard to say, right? Because like, he's corrupted by the Abyss. He could have. Even if they were standoffish and didn't actively help or even actively participate, he could have still came back and imprisoned them regardless. So, hard to prove that, but... So it is curious if as part of the new girl's quest, character quest, if we're going to learn a little bit more, is she going to talk about like her relationship with the moon? Like, did she interact with any of the moon goddesses? Because like now we know what they look like, so she could actually, and we have names to them too. We have names of the original moon goddesses and their appearances. So the White Horse Adeptus might actually, you know, refer to one or more of them by name. You know, maybe one of them. So like, yeah, maybe one of them were tasked with, hey, could you like, you know, look over a leeway in my stead or something, you know?
新玉の谷のあたりにだけ伝わるお話だったか。でもね、最近リーウェで古い仏画室として月宮の仙人を祀ってた証拠が、その頃の人たちもヨーヨたちが解凍祭で。
Yeah, I mean it's very similar to basically. So basically, there were people who worshipped the Adeptus on the moon. See, very much like the Frost Moon Scions. Although the Frost Moon Scions did it right? Yeah, we're not going to worship some Adeptus. We're going to worship the actual goddess of the moon. But from their perspective, it could be that the Adeptus interacted with them more frequently, and so they just assumed that they were the goddess of the moon, you know? Or the equivalent of a goddess, so like... Because in like Hoshin Engi, I think it's based off, you know, Chinese. I don't know if there actually is a Chinese story about that, or if this is just purely. I think there is a Chinese legend about Hoshin Engi, and Hoshin Engi, the manga, is just the Japanese retelling of it. So hard to say how accurate it is. Obviously, they probably, you know, embellish it to make it cool because of all the fights and shit. But like, there are some similarities. So like in Hoshin Engi, the main catalyst for all the bullshit that happens is Daki, a fox demon who manipulates the emperor into doing a whole lot of horrible shit. Well, Chinese history does talk about it as Daji, D-A-J-I, whereas in Japanese it's Daki, but it's just how it probably uses the same characters, same Chinese kanji characters. It's just how each culture pronounces them. But basically, yeah, in Chinese history, there was a similar story about Daji, a fox demoness, and the emperor who done started doing all these like horrific things. And so they blame, oh, the Emperor was doing this because of her. She manipulated him into doing this stuff. She's a fox demon, shit like that. So it could be that she did convince him to do those things. It could be that the Emperor is just fucking deranged right from the get-go. But then, it was turned into a legend and all that shit. And then people want to attribute it to spirits and all that stuff to justify it or to explain it. But in that, it's like, you have, there's the Sennin. All of the, like, Daki is a Sennin. The main hero of the Hoshin Engi manga is Taikobo. He's also a Sennin. And it's like, the Sennin are basically kind of like long-lived gods. They have to have like a particular skeletal structure for some reason. And that allows them to like use the power of the world and basically use their artifacts. Because you have to be a Sennin to use those artifacts. And so it was all about like how the Sennin world was trying to like influence the mortal world and all that shit. But basically, the reason why I bring up the Sennin world is because when they say Adeptus, in Japanese they're actually saying Sennin. So they are the same. They are one and the same. They're just translating it as they're actually just translating the word, or at least localizing the word from Sennin to Adeptus. But it is the same thing. So these are dealing with the same type of creatures as in Hoshin Engi. And Hoshin Engi is a really interesting story. A lot of combat, really interesting. I liked it. But it's like I don't know. Like they are godlike in that they can do a lot of godlike things. Like the artifacts they use that only they can use. Because you have to have that energy to power them and all that shit, and only Sennin can generate that power. Allow them to perform what could be considered miracles, but they didn't really seem like super godlike, right? They just were like, no, we're just like people with a special constitution, and I think they are long lived because of it. And I think that's probably what Sennin derives from. Sen as in thousand, nin as in person. So I believe it's trying to describe their long lives, 1,000-year-old person type thing. No, I'd have to double check what kanji are used. It could be that it just is a homophone, where it's a kanji that sounds the same, but actually is different. Either way, they are long lived. They are godlike in a way, because they have powers that humans don't have, but they aren't like gods in the sense of like Zeus. And, like the Christian Judaic gods, the god. It's not like that god. It's not like the Greek or other pagan gods. It was just kind of its own thing. Obviously, it's a different culture, so they have a different way of doing shit. So that's why I was like, well, maybe they're thinking of her as the goddess of the moon, but like the Chinese don't really think of things like that. And like even Japanese has like, they do have gods. I mean, I think Japan has more like, and I'm sure there are gods in China too. Like they have specific gods, same like Japanese, but like, Japanese also has like the whole, there are yokai and spirits and tsukugami, where like if even an inanimate object can spring to life after a certain period of time and stuff like that. So, and they're like, and I think like Shintoism in Japan believes that like there are spirits in everything and stuff like that. So it's like there are some differences in all of this shit. So it's kind of hard to tell. Because like Frost Moon Signs were worshipping the literal goddess of the moon. They're like, yes, each moon has a goddess. We're worshipping the Frost Moon and her goddess, right? Whereas these guys are like, well, we're worshipping the White Horse Adeptus. But it's like, are you considering that a god? The fact that you're even saying Adeptus means you kind of are distinguishing it from a god, because it's not like God, you wouldn't say Ganyu is a god, right? They would think maybe the Archon is a god. Maybe Zhongli would be considered a god, because they don't call him an Adeptus, for one. So, hard to say. And of course, while this is incredibly similar to China, this isn't China. This isn't Earth. So you can't just assume, this area is based in China, therefore, this area is based in China, therefore, they believe everything that China does. So,
えっと
I mean, obviously we don't have Adeptus anymore,
ほ
but
んと昔のことだと
you don't hear it.
知識
So,
が深い
yeah,
そうなの
I'm
そう
curious.
でしょこの前
Do they think the White Horse Adeptus is the goddess of the moon? Are they even aware of a goddess of the moon?
架空の存在
Or is it just that, oh, we know this is an Adeptus. They are associated with this specific moon. Therefore,
戦書は架空
that's what we worship.
白馬の
It also could be like, you know,
全部
it's one of those things where, like, if this White Horse Adeptus has come down and visited them frequently, if the White Horse Adeptus has come down and, like, interacted with the world more recently and more frequently, then it's like, yeah, that's who you're going to worship. Rather than the amorphous goddess of the moon, you're going to worship the envoy of the moon that you've interacted with and all that shit.
うちの宿の名前の由来を。
白って白馬だよね
その通りじゃ。わしの家系は白馬の仙人様のご加護を受けて。
詳しく教えて
ずいぶん昔の話じゃ。わしの先祖がまだ幼かった頃、薬草を取りに出かけた折。
Okay. Yeah, so this is basically the story that they have in the YouTube video. So if you're paying attention to Genshin's YouTube channel, Genshin released a trailer which basically animates what the story this guy. So it starts with a girl who's trying to pick herbs and shit. She falls off a cliff, and when she wakes up, she meets the White Horse Adeptus. And the White Horse Adeptus kind of tells her story of how she... Well, she doesn't really tell her story. She tells a story, which is obviously a metaphor for... Or is really her telling her story, but not like telling it as her story. She's just like, no, here's a story. And she basically describes her history of how when shit was hitting the fan and when Conria was being fucked over, she tried to protect the people of Liyue and guide them to a safe haven and got punished for it. But the main point is, or the main reason I bring this up, is because so many people were like, "Oh my God, that's Chi-Chi. That little girl is Chi-Chi." Because if you look at Chi-Chi's backstory, Chi-Chi also died while picking herbs, and then was resurrected by Baiji. I think. I forget. It's been a long time. Like it's like obviously she's been. I looked it up when the game first came out, like 5 years ago. So I know her general story, but it's been so long since I looked it up. I can't remember all the specific details. But the idea is that she died, somehow was like preserved naturally, like she fell into a river or was frozen, and then her body was discovered and was resurrected by Baiji. So people are saying, "Oh my God, that's Chi-Chi." In the new Genshin story of the girl taking herbs, they're like, "Oh my God, that girl is Chi-Chi." But obviously it's not, right? This quest just proves it, right? Because he's talking about that girl. He's talking about the girl who was gathering herbs. Because like the whole thing is that she's in the White Horse Adeptus story, she was like, yeah, and the White Horse Adeptus was punished so that like one day in prison was 100 years in the real world, something like that. And basically, after telling the story, the girl runs back home. She's like, okay, cool, I'm gonna go home. And she goes up, finds an old person, and she's like, hey, I'm looking for this location. And the old person says, that location? I haven't heard that name in ages. It hasn't been called that forever. Obviously trying to allude that, oh shit, this girl was asleep for talking with his Adeptus, and while talking with them in maybe their prison, 100 years passed outside, and so she's out of place in time or whatever. Obviously, that's kind of where the story ends. So it's hard to tell if that's true at all, or if that is just with the story that the girl says. Either way, but the point is that the fact that this dude is saying this is like, oh, okay, well then that girl is probably his ancestor, and that's who the girl is, which means she can't be Chi-Chi, because Chi-Chi died as a child. Chi-Chi died as a child and then was just found many years later. Whereas this girl had to have come back, had to have grown up, had to have had children, and then, so that she could be this dude's ancestor. So it can't be Chi-Chi, because Chi-Chi essentially died and has never aged past her youth. So so this dude could only have this woman as his ancestor if he's a descendant from her, right? It's not like, because you wouldn't call her, you wouldn't necessarily call her an ancestor if she was your like great aunt, right? Oh no, my ancestor had a sister who died. No. Yeah. Because the fact is, they know that your ancestor was rescued by the White Horse Adeptus, so it has to be that girl, and that girl has to have had survived, passed on the story, and had children. Yeah, so this is exactly what happened in that video. It's not that long. I think it's only like a few minute long video. But yeah, this is basically exactly what happened. She fell. White Horse Adeptus told her a story about that kingdom, about how she tried to protect it and was punished. And then when the girl got out, yeah, so interesting. Oh yeah, and that too. That was all a dream. She did that, and then she woke up.
ハックの劇をすっごく不思議な話だな。でも
Now it's too far-fetched. A horse leaping over a cliff. No, time-traveling dream makes more sense than a horse leaping over a cliff. I mean, this is also stupid, right? Ancestral records don't lie. No one's saying that you didn't descend from a girl hundreds of years ago. No shit. Like, that's what an ancestral record is. I assume, actually. I'm not sure. Maybe China refers to it. I'm thinking ancestral record as in like a family tree, right? Where it's like a proof of lineage. But it's like, that doesn't prove that the story she said is in any way true. That's also a little weird, too. He wants to change the name. It's like, why? Like, your inn has a reputation. Like, your inn has existed for a long period of time, right? I don't think this guy is the only one who made it. It might have been. This inn might have been around for hundreds of years, and so now you want to change the name? Like, dude, you have your name. You have your name, and your reputation is tied with your name. You change the name, people are going to think something is different, right? You might still have some of your old reputation, but you're going to have to build back up the reputation. It makes no sense. Oh, this is stupid. Yeah, we are attracting enough customers. It clearly is the name. Yeah, that's the reason. It's the name. If we had a better name, because that's what matters. That's what people care about. That's what people pay attention to. When I go into a new town, I look for the coolest sounding name for the inn. I'm like, what's the coolest name? Oh yeah, I forgot about that too. Yeah, the Wangchu Inn is the one that's on that big tree, super far away. No, it's basically this. It's this kid who's like, he's a moron. Obviously, he's a complete moron. Because like, you have to be a complete idiot to think, we don't have a. Like, first of all, like, how do you even know how many customers the Wangchu Inn even has, for one, right? Like, you're comparing it to them, saying, ours aren't as good as them, but, like, all you know is your numbers. you don't know theirs, right? You're not going over there and monitoring how many guests they have. Even if it seems busy, you know, they might not be getting that many guests. And also, it's also like, it's in the middle of the Leeway. It's along a main thoroughfare from Mondstadt to Leeway. So it's like people escorting their goods, you know, are going to go through there. Now, to be fair, you know, this is obviously in the city too. So you're going to have a lot of people coming here. This is a port city as well. So it's like, you're also going to have a lot of traffic as well. But like, it's comparing apples to oranges, for one. And then also it's like it's basing it off of pure supposition because you don't even know their numbers.
願王巡領泊まりたい。
そういう問題ではない。先祖は大事にせんといかんじゃろ。
I mean, I get it, right? Sure. I think it is stupid. You know, it's like, this is your heritage. You've built your reputation with this name. Changing it will damage your reputation. You know? Because with a name change, people are going to think it's different, right? They're going to think, oh, you know, maybe it's under new management. Maybe it's not the same group of people. And the people who did like the old name are going to be pissed. And yeah, anyway. It's a stupid thing to do for no reason. And you're just like, yeah, and again, it's just like, it's one of these things where it's like, okay, so rather than doing anything to improve your inn, you're thinking, yeah, I'll just rename it. It's like, what? It is like the easiest thing you could do. You know? Renaming it is like so fucking easy. So rather than put in any effort to improve your inn in a meaningful way, you're just like, no, I'm just gonna rename it. That'll change everything. It's like, dude, could you be even lazier? Like, maybe you should figure out what people like about the Mongshu Inn. Maybe it's the chef. Maybe you should get a better chef. You know? If people aren't complaining about the food, maybe it's the rooms. Maybe you should spruce up the rooms. Update the beds, you know. Something like that.
じゃから消灯に願い事を書いた。
なんか勝利先生は物知りで師匠でもわからん。来る時に見かそれじゃあ出発だ。じゃあヨーヨとナナはショートバイバイバイ。
Oh, that's nice. The little markers in between the L1 and R1 are little dots. You're like, oh, little dots, right? But then when you actually like select them, it turns into a little crescent moon. So it's like, oh, it's a full moon versus crescent moon. A nice little effect.
白馬のせ。
勝利先生は
Oh, wow. So that's what was glowing in the background. Oh, that's nice. Okay. Where are these? Some of these quests are closed. Ooh. Yeah, so I want to unlock these first. Oh, right there. Oh, so it was here. I just want to unlock these quests so I know what the minigames are. And the progression pattern. And then I'll continue with the main story. But I mean, I do understand on some level why the why the son is so disrespectful, right? Because remember, according to his grandfather or father, maybe, or no, I guess it's father, right? Because he said it was his son, so the son must be super old and must be a moron too. But to think that just changing the names will fix everything. It's like the whole like Cracker Barrel thing, right? They're like, oh, we're gonna change your logo. Why? Why did you waste any amount of money changing your logo? Is fine. Leave your logo alone. People who like people like your company, people like your restaurant. Why the fuck are you? And they got a huge backlash from people. They were like, dude, you changed it from a logo with character into some generic bullshit logo, and no one fucking liked it, and you pissed off everybody. It's like, just why? Like, don't rock the boat, right? And this is basically what this guy's doing. Now, to be fair, I don't think it's going to have as big a pushback, because Geolord's Rest, it's like, well, if there is someone they worship, it's the Geolord, right? Obviously. Zhongli is the Archon of this area, so that's fine. And, like, to be fair, the White Horse Adeptus was a story that originated from the Chenyu Vale, which, you know, a lot of people in Liyue maybe are not familiar with the Chenyu Vale, and even then, it's an old legend as well. So it's like, even if there are people who had visited Chenyu Vale, they might not even be aware of that legend as well. Maybe only natives would actually know about it, right? And would natives of Chenyu Vale be popping over here all the time? Maybe not. You know, and maybe that's it. Is that, yeah, sure. If a Chenyu Vale native ever comes to Liyue, the Liyue Harbor, sure, they might choose the Baiju Inn because of the relation to the Adeptus that they had previously worshipped, right? But for the most part, most people in Liyue, in the entire country of Liyue, you know, are familiar with the Geolord. So it wouldn't be as big an issue. And yeah, sure, like the old guy, you know, cares about his origin and ancestry and all that shit. Whereas the new one is like, yeah, like that doesn't really matter. What really matters is becoming, you know, being prosperous. Now, to think, oh yes, we'll become prosperous by just changing our name, that's a stupid idea. That's just a dumb idea. It's just like, because again, there's no basis in fact for it, right? There's no basis in fact to say, okay, so you want to change it to Geolord's Rest. What makes you think you're going to do better with that name than your current name? You know, you have no basis in fact to make that change. It's not like you, I mean, and maybe he did, but I doubt it. It's not like he went throughout all of Liyue and said, hey, if you were coming into Liyue for your first time and you saw two inns, one called this, which one would you go to? You know, maybe he did some polling of the Liyue residents to get a feel for the name. Maybe. But I very much doubt he did. And even then, it's not even a guarantee. Because again, that's all things in a vacuum. Two brand new inns that no one knows anything about. Which would you pick? Oh, maybe you might pick the one with the better name. But Baiju Inn has been around for years, maybe even hundreds of years, right? It has a reputation. Would you go to an inn just recently renamed Geolord's Rest, or would you go to the 100-year-old Baiju Inn, right? Like, so it's not even guaranteed. That's why it's so stupid, right? Rather than do something tangible, like improving your recipe, adding more variety, like reducing the cost of the inn, or if you're going to keep it the same cost, making it feel more luxurious and improving customer service. Like, all these things have tangible benefits of actually improving the inn, right? Because it's like, yeah, sure, right? If you get a better chef. Now, chef one could also be kind of weird because, like, maybe people like the original chef. Maybe the original chef is good, but they cook food in a specific way, and maybe that attracts some people and not others. So you could have added another chef, second chef. So there you could have two different styles of cuisine in your inn, you know? But, like, improving the rooms, you know, improving the bed quality, sheets, decorations, stuff like that. You know, these are things that could help. You know, more improving customer service. Like, all these things have a benefit. But the name change is like the laziest thing that you can't prove. You can't, like, you have no basis that this would actually help. You're just like saying, yeah, I'm sure it will. That's the only reason why we're failing, is because our name is wrong. Of course, he's like, I want to change it to Geolord's Rest. It's like, okay, but, like, what about Wangshu Inn, right? Like, That's Wang Shu is named Geolord's Rest. So like, if it's all about the name, do you think so? There's something about the Wang Shu name that makes it like so much better. And maybe it is, right? Like I don't know what the Chinese characters are. Maybe the characters they use for it are like really auspicious ones, where it's like, oh, actually, they use the same characters that Zhongli uses in his name, but just pronounced differently as part of that. Who knows, you know? Or in Rex Lapis, like maybe some portion of the Wangshu characters like are similar to the Rex Lapis name or whatever they use in Chinese for his name. Stuff, maybe something like that, perhaps. It's hard to tell in English. Okay, it's one of these things down. Oh, interesting. Whatever. Okay, that's one down. There's the next one. Oh wait, do I actually have to do this now? Me. Oh, okay, cool. So I'm gonna have to get land the end. I think. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Moonlight Merriment. Yeah, here we go. This one, right? Wait, is it? Oh, shit. So it's not complete yet, then. Uh, oh, interesting. Oh, yeah. So shit. That. Uh, let's see. I guess I'll swap this. I do find it kind of annoying that I can't actually swap. Like if I pick any one of these.
誰か
Oh, I see. Sure, this one looks cool. Oh, actually, no, I like that one. Yeah, that's fine.
ために歌うわけ
Okay, so normal attacks. Catalyst users don't count. Like pretty much everything, I guess. Oh, that's pretty cool. Okay, so that's the end of it, right? And now if I go into this... Oh, that's the Shadow Lantern overview. Interesting. Fuck. God damn it. Fuck off. Okay, so this should be this one, right? Wait, no. What? Why do I still have a quest for this? Or is this... Oh, no. Oh, there's four... Oh, I assumed this was a story quest. This isn't the story quest. This is... There's 4 minigames. Oh, okay. I see a chest. Okay, let's see. What's the next closest one? We're actually all relatively far away. I'm surprised. Is this? Is this? I don't know. It is still in the harbor. Okay, that's fine. Oh, I saw a person's face on the map. Interesting. So I can interact with the. Wait, what? What the fuck is Sarah here? Is that what a like is? Hello there. How's it going? That's cool, I guess. Ooh, another pot of gold.
Yeah. So
Oh, doing pretty well. I'm just oh wait, there's another pot of gold. Actually, I'm curious. Can I? Does this count? Oh, this okay. So everything but catalyst users apparently. I guess the thing is you have to be able to do physical damage, and catalyst users do elemental. It's the same reason why catalyst users can't break trees. It's because trees require non-elemental damage to actually work. So. Okay, so another one unlocked. Where's the next one? There. Oh, another pot of gold. Actually, now that I think about it, now that I'm riding, let's find Sarah and chat with her. Where are you, Sarah? I don't think there'll be any different, unique dialogue with when using Raiden to speak with her. She must be above. Oh, I see. This is the photo op thing.
この時期にリーユエでお前と出会うとは。ああ、確かにいいだろう。お前ならいい。では、撮影時の姿勢について、お前の意見をもらい。
No, okay, this one looks better.
Iい写真だ。私個人の品としてありがとう。祭りの期間中も。
Okay, so that's what that is. That is not what I was expecting. I thought it might be like a chat. Now, technically, we did kind of chat, but that's the photo op thing. That's why it appeared. Got it. Yep. I mean, she comes back on banner all the time, but yeah, I've been playing the game since it first came out. Oh, there's music here. Wait, what? I thought this was Ganya. Is that Ganya's picture? Oh, is that really music? Yeah, I'm surprised. It looked like Ganya, but I guess a little like the hair looked like horns from a very small position.
写真家さんは
I'm curious with her. Nah. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I really like it. UI, the picture. I've been really liking it. I think exploring feels really fun. I like exploring around. Combat feels fun. It definitely gets better as you progress. Like I thought I'd try like making a free to play account to see like I think when Gani was going to come back on banner, I'm like Gani makes combat really easy. So I'm like, oh, maybe I'll do a free to play account to see kind of how far you can get with a free without spending any money. And then like coming in from a player who had like, you know, a lot of level 90 characters, all the artifact sets going and starting a fresh new game. I'm like, God damn, I feel so weak. But you don't notice that when you're first starting because like you have, you know, everything is everything is just as strong as it is. You don't realize how powerful you can become when you have, you know, artifacts, when you have like the artifact sets and weapons and all that shit. So couldn't go back to it. And I gave up. I'm like, nah, this is too tedious. But for single, and like I am the kind of person who likes to complete everything. So like I have 100%ed every single zone. But having to do that a second time was just like, oh my god, like I've already done it once. Like, and like if it's a free to play account, I feel compelled to do it for the Primo Gems, which just makes it less fun. Because it's not even like I could skip it. If I was going to be like, oh, I'm going to create a second account and I'm going to spend money on the second account as well, which would obviously be stupid too, then sure, I could skip the exploration. But yeah, I really do like the exploration of this. I think the world is very pretty. I like the stories for all the zones. I thought they've all been really good. I really like them. So like the overarching story of the traveler for their brother, but then like, oh well, there's also the Fatui, there's also the Abyss, there's also Conria, all that shit, all being tied together with the game has been pretty cool. So I look forward to all the story, the Archon quests, and just the character quests are really good. So I've been enjoying it quite a lot. Oh, there's one in. Oh, lately I've been getting into Arknight's Enfield. That game is insanely addicting. I mean, generally I would say, like, if you want to stay as free to play as possible, then I would still kind of recommend spending the $5 a month for the Primo Gems. Because it's just, you know, it's basically two 10 pulls for $5, which is a really good value. And if you're just playing it over and over again, it'll help a lot. Obviously, you could get the Battle Pass, but the Battle Pass costs more money, and the main benefit of that is just the extra resources and stuff, which is definitely helpful. But if you don't have other games to play and you just kind of want to chill and relax and don't want to have to like farm stuff a ton, then oh yeah, me too. Like I have the Welkin Moon, I have the Battle Pass. I get the extra Battle Pass. Like, I enjoy this game. I have a lot of fun in it. I don't mind spending money on that. And then if it's a character I really want, I might spend money there too. But
君のペースについていけるか
Yeah,
心
Skirk.
配してく
I
れ
mean,
てるの
I would say only really get Skirk if you have an Escoffier. So if you don't have Escoffier in your team, then I would say Skirk is not great. Like, mostly because Freeze team is not good. Freeze team is not great without Escoffier. Escoffier makes Freeze teams basically work. It's because, unlike pretty much every other element, Freeze doesn't do damage. So like for Vaporize, Blooms, Lunar Blooms, Aggravates, all those other ones, all non-geo related reactions do bonus damage. You know, you do a swirl, you get bonus swirl damage, right? Based on elemental mastery. Like, every reaction does damage. So it's like, cool, all your characters are this strong, and then they do the reactions, which gives them even more damage. But the problem is with freeze teams, and Skirk has to be on a freeze team basically, to maximize her damage. On freeze teams, you're freezing them, and sure, like you can CC them, and that's all well and good, but it doesn't do any bonus damage. So all damage has to come from your characters without any of the reaction bonuses. And that's why Escoffier is so insanely necessary, is because she boosts the damage. She reduces the resistance for both Hydro and Cryo. She reduces the resistance for both Cryo and Hydro, as well as like boosting damage, or boosting crit rate, I think. Or what were her buffs again? Oh yeah, well, being a healer also helps too, and a healer that is a burst healer, which means she works really well with. Ganyu is really good. Ganyu's good by herself. She does a lot of good damage, and she just like, she has decent damage, and she does react, and she's good for like killing things in the overworld. I used her for overworld exploration a lot early on, but yeah. So like this decreases their Hydro and Cryo resistance by 55%. Like, that's insanely good. And then if you get this, if you get her C1, with only Cryo Hydro, boosts crit damage by 60%, which is insanely good because like Blizzard, like the Cryo Resonance increases crit rate by 15%. She's fine. Like, obviously, like, she's still good. Like, the fact that she's a healer makes her useful regardless. Like, just being a healer alone is great. So, if you have Fiorina, that's definitely helped. Like, so Fiorina is one of those buffers that benefits from a healer that can do a burst heal and heal everyone at once. And that's what her heal is. So that's why, like, Barbara and Jean got a sudden resurgence when Fiorina came back, is because they can heal the entire party with their burst, and Fiorina drains everyone in the party's HP when her skills hit. So having a burst healer like that is super useful. As a cryo applicator, she's still pretty good. The fact that it does that. Even for this, even if you only have her by herself with no other Hydro or Cryo, she still reduces resistances by 5%. But realistically, you'd probably put her with a Cryo or Hydro as well. So you do another Cryo. So obviously, but there's a huge difference between 5, 10, 15, and then a 40% increase for freeze team only. So, but yeah, just being a healer makes her useful. So just being a healer makes her helpful, and yeah, she just makes her helpful. Like, she's just as good just because of that. And then she's insanely useful in freeze teams because of that 55% resistance reduction, and if you can get her C1, that 60% crit damage increase. Because usually, yeah, because if you have like Blizzard Strayer as well, so you get like 10% or 15% crit rate for the Cryo Resonance, and then Blizzard Strayer gives you another like 20% crit rate. Where's my Ganyu? Yeah, so if you're affected by Cryo, crit rate another by 20%. If you're frozen, another 20%. So she gets 40% crit rate if they're frozen. But at the very least, with Escoffier, they should at least be, you should be consistently afflicting them with Cryo. So you should be getting a 20% crit rate plus Cryo Resonance, which is another like 10 to 15%. So you're really likely to crit with cryo teams, and especially with freeze teams. So Escoffier's C1 of boosting crit damage by 60% for freeze teams is insanely helpful, and a huge damage boost for freeze teams. So if you want to do freeze teams, basically always make sure to have Escoffier. She goes cryo damage, but that's interesting. Wait, what is her crit rate? Oh. Yeah, it's fine. But yeah, so attack percentage. Yeah, they went cryo. Interesting. I went attack percent because I'm like, well, she heals based off her attack, so I want a big fat heal. Anyway, so yeah, so Escoffier is super helpful. So if you have a freeze team and you don't have her, I would really prioritize her. So in fact, if you have to pick between Skirk and Escoffier, I would pick Escoffier. Because Escoffier works in non-freeze teams because she is a healer, and healers are always useful. And she does apply cryo relatively well. It's not super a lot, it's like once every few seconds. But the fact is, you can get a nice little reaction with it. So it's like you can get some melts, you can get some reverse melts, so, and, just being a healer is helpful. Skirk has to be in a freeze team. So, like, if you don't have good party members to go with her, then she's just not going to do her best damage. In fact, the Elemental Mastery on her is kind of a wasted stat. Oh, yeah. I don't have her with her proper set. No wonder I need to farm this better. Okay, these are fine. It's just this shit. Oh, big chunk of it's from this and this. Don't really need this. God, Elemental Mastery into everything. Goddamn. Yeah, most people should pick her set. Yeah, so it's definitely. Yeah, I mean, like, she's not bad per se. Like, it's fine if you want to. It's fine if you want to. Oh, actually, this is actually probably better. Let's swap that. It's a crit rate. It's fine if you want to. Damn it! Of course, like, why do I? Well, actually, no. Cryo. Elemental Mastery is not too terrible with cryo goblets, but. Oh yeah, I went with this for that. Either way, but yeah, she really, like, Skirk is really specific. She has to be in freeze teams because the whole point is that she gets these little, like, void rifts in the field for every freeze reaction that is caused by not her. So she can apply the cryo, and that's fine, but then you need other hydro units to freeze off her cryo so that they're triggering the freeze. And so you kind of, like, because if you get 3 rifts and then you hold her skill down, she absorbs the rifts and gets some energy back. So you really want to get a shitload of energy for her stuff. Serpent Subtlety, right? I think. Yeah, here it is. So when nearby trigger, so it's any reaction. So it can be frozen, super conduct. Any other reaction, she gets void rifts, so she can be useful in other teams, kinda. So it's not the end of the world, but you just need to be able to trigger a lot of reactions. Because you basically want, and you can only trigger once every 2.5 seconds, so you basically just want to make sure that you have a lot of void rifts. Once you have 3 void rifts, you just hold you do a charge attack, and get Serpent Subtlety back, which increases the duration of your skill. So freeze obviously works really well. It's like she has this buff too, so she gets these bonuses. And for this, she will gain Death's Crossing for 20 seconds, but it stacks 3 times. So it stacks 3 times, and each is counted independently. So, and it doesn't count for her. So you have to have 3 other Cryo or Hydro party members to get the max of 3 stacks. And as you can see, her attack damage goes from 110, 120, and then 170. So, and Havoc Rune, 105, 115. So as you can see, there's a huge bump between 2 stacks and 3 stacks. Because 2 stacks basically means you just have another Cryo unit, you have another Hydro unit, and then a third non-Cryo Hydro unit. So that you could bring in an Animo for swirls and stuff like that. But then you're missing out on that 50% damage bump you would get at max Death's Crossing stacks for both her skill and burst. So it's just like she's not terrible, but like she's not going to get her max damage in non-freeze schemes. Because she'll get bonuses from this. This technically doesn't really matter. You could do this easy enough with other non-freeze party members like Cryo Swirl, Cryo Crystallize. You can have Geo, you can have Animo, Electro. You just can't have Pyro. As you notice, melts don't appear in there at all. So you should only ever pair her with Water, Electric, Animo, or Geo, so that you can get your Void Rifts, because your Void Rifts are necessary to keep you in your skill state, which is where you do most of your damage. And then this realistically gives you bonus damage for each Cryo or Hydro member you have in your party. So it's like, she's just heavily, not heavily reliant, but like, she just does her most damage. And obviously, she's a main DPS, and that's the thing. It's like you should make sure your main DPS you should try to improve your main DPS as best as possible. Honestly, I need to farm her Relic some more. But she's not like other characters. Yeah. And there definitely are other, you don't have to do a Scoffier for the freeze to maximize her effect to a degree, right? There's Barbara. Barbara works. Barbara, Fiorina, Charlotte. There are definitely other Cryo. Obviously she's good too because she boosts Cryo damage in general. I think she reduces Cryo resistance as well. But she's pretty good at applying Cryo. Her only caveat is just that she's when she does her burst, you have to keep enemies near the burst to take damage from it. She's good because she heals, and when she does her little camera shutter thing, it applies Cryo consistently on them. You put a mark on them, and it applies Cryo consistently, so that's super helpful to continuously do shit. Barbara is just great, her little water ring around you. Well, unfortunately, it makes you wet, so if you're against other Cryo enemies, you can get frozen, which really sucks dick. The fact that she has an AoE heal, and because Skirk is a melee DPS, the water ring around her, if Barbara puts the water ring around the active character, not only is it healing you, which is always cool, but if enemies touch it, they get Hydro applied to them. So if Skirk's in her burst state, she'll be constantly freezing because she's getting close to them to attack. That they touch the ring around her and get wet, and then Skirk triggers freeze. Or if Skirk already applied for Cryo, it freezes when they touch the ring. Xingqiu is obviously a really good Hydro applicator, so he's super good. These two are really good. Paired with Skirk. Charlotte's also kind of good because you want a healer. She's kind of a good Cryo applicator. Chi-Chi, not a great Cryo applicator. She's too inconsistent for her Cryo, so I wouldn't really use her. If you don't have Fiorina, Aino's pretty good. Aino's a pretty good Hydro applicator. But if you have Yelan, Xingqiu is definitely good. Xingqiu and Yelan both synergize well because they both trigger their burst effects with normal attacks, which Skirk will be doing. I think Skirk does most of her damage through normal attacks. So Xingqiu, Yelan, and then maybe Charlotte for the heal. For your freeze team. But see. What else? I mean, obviously Escoffier. And then like that's the thing. It's just, but there's freeze teams with Escoffier and freeze teams without. Like a freeze team with Escoffier is just going to do so much more damage. Like you're reducing the resistances by 50%. So I don't think you're doing. I don't think that means you do double damage the way calculations happen, but it definitely will like improve your damage by like 20% at least with just an Escoffier and a freeze team. And that's the cool thing about Escoffier too is that this is just a talent. This is just boom, you get this for leveling her up. Like so, it's not even like you have to invest in it at all. Hello there, how's it going? So with like no investment, you can still get some good shit. And you get a passive buff that's just insanely good. Okay, so this just increases our attack results. I'm doing well, how about you? We're just talking about good Skirk teams. Oh, we're just talking about Skirk. And I was saying how a freeze team without Escoffier is just another category altogether. Like, Escoffier just elevates freeze team. Like, basically, freeze teams were always shit, right? Like, they were always rough. Like, Ayako is strong and powerful, but, like, basically all other teams outclassed her simply because the freeze reaction doesn't do any extra damage. And, like, Escoffier is basically MiHoYo's answer to that. They're like, oh. Escoffier was like Genshin's answer to be like, oh, freeze teams aren't doing too well. I know. We're gonna add in a new character that is so insanely good for freeze teams that basically her buffs will make up for the difference in the lack of reaction. So it's like, yeah, you're not getting damage reactions from the freeze, but with these insane buffs that Escoffier gives with her just passive talent and her C1, now you're going to do damage that rivals actual melt teams and stuff like that. Well, maybe not rivals, but at least is not terrible. So, and then of course, obviously Skirk has to, well, not really has to be, but she like gets she gets her maximum bonus damage from a freeze team. And so like, but if you're talking about freeze teams, you really should have a Escoffier too, but obviously, if you don't, like they don't come, I don't think they come on banner at the same time. So, and realistically, if you had to prioritize one, I would prioritize Escoffier first, and then get Skirk later. But, you can do whatever the fuck you want. It's not like she's bad without Escoffier. It's more like all freeze teams are bad without Escoffier. Like, if you have every freeze team benefits from Escoffier, whether you use Ayaka, Ganyu, any other cryo character, Escoffier just ramps them up. Because it's not even just like, oh, it boosts the cryo damage, but it also boosts the hydro damage too. So yeah, your land might do a lot of damage, right? When Yelan's burst is up, yeah, sure, you might get a lot of hydro procs and a lot of little hydro bullets and do a lot of damage. Well, they do even more damage because this reduces resistance, so it doesn't even matter what you scale off of. Because it's not boosting, like if you're going to boost raw damage, so it's like that also works, because it doesn't matter what you scale off, defense, attack, HP, it just boosts damage. Similarly, her resistance reduction boosts everyone's damage, regardless of what you scale off of. So, she's just insanely helpful. So I would pick her first. Because even outside of freeze teams, having a good healer is always good. Having a good healer that does an off-field cryo application with her skill. You just do her skill, put her off-field, and you just get some random cryo. That's always helpful. No real. So it's like the only. Yeah, we'll see. Obviously, I don't know what they will do. They can do whatever the hell they want. They can do anything in whatever order. I mean, I could see them doing both on the same patch. They could be like, oh, one banner is Skirk, the other banner is Escoffier. I think they've done that before, where the 2 5-stars synergize well with each other, which obviously sucks for free-to-play people, or people who are not trying to spend a lot, or who haven't saved a lot, and you're like, oh shit, I want both of these characters. But generally, yeah, like Escoffier is just... I would recommend getting her first. I mean, either way. I mean, if Skirk pops up first, you could get her first and just make sure to get Escoffier the next time when she pops up, rather than wait for Escoffier and then, like, what if it's Skirk then Escoffier in the next patch? You're like, fuck. Now you're gonna wait. Now you're gonna have to wait even longer for a Skirk. So, and Skirk is super hot and all that. So, I definitely do get that. That's why I got her. But anyway, yeah, exactly. I mean, it just depends. Like, obviously, it sucks if you're free to play, because if something like that does happen, where they're both both being released in the same patch, and you don't have anything saved, yeah, you're fucked. Like, that's basically it. So that's why I won't. That's why I don't mind spending money. Obviously, I try not to. I'm not like a huge whale. I don't get like. I think the highest constellation I have from a limited banner is like C2. I don't ever go beyond C2. And it's not like I even get all characters at C2. It's only some characters. Like even Skirk, even though I like Skirk, I didn't get that. I only got this C1 Escoffier because that is fucking insane. Like she's designed for freeze teams, and so just getting a 60% crit damage buff after doing for. I mean, to be fair, this is only boosting the crit damage of Cryo. So you have to be a Cryo main DPS, but like most free teams have Cryo as the main DPS anyway, so that's fine. So you increase 60% crit damage for the Cryo characters after doing skill or burst, which is like you're going to be able to do, and you can see from her talent, the cooldown for this is 15 seconds. So it's like, yeah, you have basically 100% uptime on that. And then this one... this. I mean, that also helps. It's like when you do damage, you get it's kind of like Lin Yin's buff, I think, where it just boosts your attack damage. Actually, no, I think this is actually more like Shenhe. Shenhe has the abilities that when you do her skill, I think when you hold her skill down, the next some number of instances of cryo damage get boosted by her. So this just increases it by, you get 5 instances where you can do this, which is like, okay. Like, but it's this cooking mech thing. And you only get 5 instances of the boosted attack, so it doesn't seem super useful. But yeah, C1 is super helpful for her. And then, like, I do have some C6 characters, but they're all the standard banner stuff, so it's like losing 50-50s. So, yeah, generally I like, I only get it if like it's super, super, super helpful. But it's not a definite requirement. But anyway, I've been walking for... because her skill is what matters. So you think, oh, basic attack, right? No. Her skill her damage comes from this. When in skill form, all damage is all your basic attacks become this damage. So this is all that matters. This is when you're in skill form, that's when all your damage is infused with cryo. That's when you're getting huge damage things. This is where all her damage comes from. Well, and this too a little bit. This does practically nothing. Like, even leveling this up doesn't really matter. This only increases her damage when she doesn't have her skill active, but most of her damage comes from having her skill active, because these attacks are just normal physical attacks, and most people give her a cryo goblet, as you can see. 80% of people gave her cryo goblet, and so cryo goblet only affects her when her skill is active. So these two are the ones you want. In fact, you can even see first priority is skill, second priority is burst and then level up as needed. I just get everything to 666 anyway. So, like Escoffier, who gives a shit about her attack? She's a healer. Same for Sitlali. Her, I did for shits and giggles. Same for Eula. I really like Eula, so I did that. Same for Ganyu. I really like Ganyu, so leveled up everything. Ike as well. Generally, for some of the 4 stars, I haven't really paid too much attention to. They just are at 666. He has constellations to boost those things up to 9 though, but eventually I will level up some characters to be like, oh, okay. Like her, actually, realistically, Aino doesn't really need either one of these leveled up because she's not there for damage. She's mostly just there for lunar reactions and hydro application. But yeah, like even for characters I don't really use, it's 666 or 6 for basics. And like the reason why I like leveled up Kazuha's burst is because it boosts damage, does additional elemental damage, and that is changed. See, additional elemental damage goes up to 65%. So they do get a benefit from this, whereas his skill only does damage, and you're not really doing him for damage. You're doing him for the iridescent Venerer resistance shredding and the application. Same for Venti too. It's like all of these things just increases damage, I think. Like additional elemental damage, I guess, kind of helpful. But like this, so I could, in theory, level this up if I want. But yeah, I at a very baseline, I get every talent to 6, and then I level up the other ones that they directly use. So for like Tignari, I got his up to 9 because the Tanglevine, because his basic attacks and his thing. I mean, you can use this as well too. First priority is his basic. Second priority is his burst. Level up as needed. Level up as needed is basically like, yeah, you don't really need this at all. It's not really a major part of their kit. Like, it's the other things that are what they're mostly used for. Yeah, Child is another good example, too. Is that he has his normal attacks, but these only benefit from his basic attacks. But once you go into his skill mode, he's very much like Skirk in that way, is that he has a new set of damage modifiers that only apply when he's in skill mode. So, yeah. So, yeah, it's just... There's my horse. So some I do a little bit. Yeah, Triple Crown was just because I have a shitload of crowns, and it's usually for characters I really just like. So, and like also like some ones I buff, like if I have Fiorina buff, I probably will not Triple Crown her because it's like there really is no point to Triple Crown her basic attack. For some characters, you know, like I mean, Ganyu really wants basic attacks. Realistically, I didn't really need to do her trail. But I just really like her as a character, so I did it. Eula kind of benefits from everything, so that's fine. But some ones I like... I think my Eula... Where's my Eula? Where's water? Yeah, my Eula. I think it's the same as you. Or actually, no. Yeah, mine's 6, 10, 10. I didn't even bother leveling up her basic attack, because who gives a shit? So for me, it's like I already got her to 10, because like I use her a lot, and those are the skills she really uses. And like using one extra crown to triple crown her is not like crazy. It's never like I triple crown someone who I never was intending on crowning in the first place. So I would never triple crown a character who I was not planning on getting any of their skills to 10. It'd be like, no, I use this character a lot. They're super helpful. Like Columbina, I'm gonna level this up to 10. I doubt I'm gonna level this up at all because it's not super helpful. I might, because I do like Columbina. I like Rite, and I also triple crown because I just really like her. So it also kind of depends on how many. So I have 7 crowns. That's not a ton. But if I get like double-digit crowns from saving, then I might be like, yeah, screw it. I'll triple crown Columbina, something like that. Yeah, triple crown is chilling in because she's insanely hot. I might triple crown Navia, because Navia actually does kind of... She is on the field. Now, most of her damage comes from her skill, so you're just using basic attacks just to kind of waste time and kill time until you can do your skill. But having a little bit of extra damage wouldn't hurt her too much. Like Mizuki, I don't know if I'm going to level up any of her shit, because most of her damage... Like, this is kind of helpful. Increasing the regen is kind of useful. Like, the Elemental Mastery heals kind of helps, so maybe that. This one, kind of, yeah, you increase the swirl damage, sure. Like, she's all about the swirl, so it's mostly skill and burst for her, but, like, she's just not great, so I don't really want to bother. Shaska is like, yeah, you just don't even use her skill, or her basic attack at all. All her damage comes from her skill. And burst, mostly her skill. Jean, I just really like her, so I maxed everything out. So, yeah, it's kind of it's what I feel like for the most part. But also, it's like if I have a ton of extra resources, where it's like, oh, I have a shitload of crowns. You know, I have double-digit crowns. Yeah, sure, I'll spend an extra crown to level this, or I'll turn some skills from 9 to 10 for some characters who are already at 9. Stuff like that. Or if there's a character I really, really like. But anyway, it was a nice chatting with you, but I'm going to have to call it for now, because I've been on my treadmill for the last 90 minutes. So I am hungry, and I am thirsty. So I will be logging out. But then I'll be logging in shortly after I shower and get myself a snack, microwave myself up something, and then I'll be back on to play Honkai Star Rail. Honestly, I actually want to play Enfield, because I've been playing Enfield a fuckload. But I've kind of gotten to a good point where it's like there's not much actual progression for me to do in Enfield. It's mostly just doing all the side quests and exploration content, so like that's fine. I'll still do it. But because I've been playing Enfield so much, I haven't really been playing Honkai Star Rail. Normally, I on my weekends, I'll go into Honkai Star Rail and do some of my weekly stuff. But then last week I just didn't, because like I spent like 12 hours playing Enfield each day. Yeah. Yeah, I have a treadmill in my living room, so basically I walk on my treadmill while I stream on my television with a controller in hand. And so it's a great way to get me some exercise. And like the dailies and stuff like distract me. So like, you know, normally if you go out and walk, it's like, yeah, it's a pain. You feel bored. You're just like, you're constantly thinking about just stopping and being done with it. But with dailies and stuff like that, oh, I'm in the middle of a quest. Like, oh, I want to complete the quest. And so it kind of pushes you to walk for longer than you might normally done by yourself, simply because, you know, you're just distracted by the quest. And you just want to keep on going, so you do. And in this case, I got distracted by our chat. But yeah, I play this game pretty much every day. Well, I play the game pretty much every day. I don't always stream it. If it's just like popping in to like spend my resin, I might not. But usually like on Mondays or Tuesdays, I'll pop in and do a quick little stream to do the weekly bosses. And once a month I do my Imaginarium. Basically, I kind of like save up quests, like story quests, for stream, so that it gives me, because it's the quests, it's like the story quests that distract me the most. So it's like, oh, okay. So that's why like I hadn't really done the lantern light, because I wasn't really spending much time during my walks on that. I was doing other shit, mostly Enfield stuff. But but yeah. So I don't know if maybe tomorrow I'll continue this quest. I'm not sure, because I also play Zenless Zone Zero, and since Zenless Zone Zero has its weekly Hollow Zero thing, so usually I do that on Monday. I either do that on Mondays or I do the weekly bosses from Genshin once the reset's done. Like I'd get those out of the way quickly. It's tough. It's busy at the week start. But anyway, so yeah, if you're chilling around on Twitch in like 30 minutes, I'll probably be back on playing Honkai Star Rail. I'm gonna do, I think, a Memory of Chaos. I need to do Memory of Chaos. I need to do Currency Wars, and I need to do Divergent Universe. And then I'm gonna go on to Enfield. It never ends. But yeah. Oh no, yeah, no worries. And yeah, if you ever have any questions, you can just pop on. I have a Discord too, so if you if you go to my Discord link, if you have any Genshin questions, you can just ask them there. If I'm not currently streaming Genshin at the time. I know quite a bit because I've been playing for 5 years, and I do like to watch the build guide videos, so I kind of understand a general idea of how to play. Yeah, it was nice chatting with you. I'm going to go ahead and call it. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time.